A teacher at Lanzhou University in China recently received a heart transplant only 4 days after being placed on the donor waitlist. The waiting period for a heart transplant in the United States is over 180 days. It can take years to match a donor with a recipient. Even after years of waiting, when the organ becomes available, it may not be a good fit or even viable. The short wait period and abundance of organs available for just one transplant in China has aroused suspicions of forced organ harvesting. On April 8th, Mu Jiangang, a teacher at Lanzhou University, suffered a myocardial infarction and was rushed to the hospital to have the blood clot removed and the heart stent inserted to keep the blood vessel open. On April 28th, he was rushed back to the hospital. He was put on an ECMO, short for extracorporeal membrane oxygenation. This is a machine used to do the work of the heart and the lungs when a patient's own organs are unable to work on their own. It is in essence a modified heart-lung bypass machine taking over heart and lung function. After being placed on the ECMO, he was diagnosed with a significant heart infraction, requiring a heart transplant. On May 6th, Mu had been transferred to China's top organ transplant hospital, the Wuhan Union Hospital, which is affiliated with the Tongji Medical College of Lanzhou University of Science and Technology. He was placed on the waitlist for a heart. After only 4 days at the hospital, Mu Jiangang was the lucky recipient of a heart transplant. After surgery, Mu was transferred to the intensive care unit. The speed at which a suitable donor organ was found for Mu is unheard of outside of China. In the United States, where medical technology is more advanced and the organ donor system is hyper-efficiently streamlined to minimize loss of viable organs, the wait time usually exceeds 180 days. Many patients have died before suitable organs become available. The source of donated organs is strictly regulated in the United States, and the transplant waitlist can be viewed online. But in China, the source of donated organs and transplant waitlists are, as usual, kept secret. Actually, Mu's speedy heart transplant was not a matter of luck or coincidence. In China, there's a growing body of evidence pointing to the communist regime as the creators of an organized system that keeps a human reserve of healthy individuals for use as organ donors. Consider the story of Sun Lingling, a 24-year-old woman who became the subject of media reports in mainland China for her rapid heart transplant. Sun's story began June 2020. While working in Japan, she fell ill, requiring she be placed on an ECMO to survive. A 9-month wait period was projected to match her with a donor for the needed heart transplant. Instead of waiting, she opted to go to China. On June 12th, she was flown to China, where she was admitted to the Wuhan Union Hospital. Miraculously, she was matched with a heart only 13 days later. This is where the story becomes very unusual. We recommend you pay particular attention to the following details. Not only was Sun matched with one heart, no, she was matched with 4 available hearts. The first donated heart arrived at the hospital on June 16th but was rejected. Surgeons rejected it, assessing the coronary arteries to be in poor condition. Only 4 days later, the second heart arrived. That was June 19th. Sun was running a fever, therefore unable to go into surgery. The heart could not be used and was thus rejected. Only 6 days later, Sun's condition had noticeably improved, just as the final, not 1, but 2 donor hearts arrived. That was June 25th. The third heart from a local female was also rejected. The heart finally chosen was that from a 33-year-old male who lived hundreds of kilometers away. Within just 13 days, Sun had 4 hearts to choose from, made available for her surgery. She would live on, while the 4 donors did not. On April 4, 2021, the World Organization to Investigate the Persecution of Falun Gong released an investigative report stating there are suspicions that the Wuhan hospital is participating in the crime of harvesting organs of living Falun Gong practitioners and other prisoners persecuted by the Chinese Communist Party. In a previous interview with the Epoch Times, Dr. Torsten Trey, executive director of the medical ethics advocacy group Doctors Against Forced Organ Harvesting, said Sun Lingling's unprecedented short wait for 4 donor hearts should be a cause for international alarm. He calls Sun's case beyond explanation. It rather follows an on-demand system, he says. Dr. Torsten Trey's statement adds up. It adds up with the detailed accounts of Falun Gong practitioners detained in mainland China, where extensive medical testing is performed when detainees are admitted. For the Falun Gong practitioners that miraculously make it out of the prisons and live to tell their story, there are many more that never made it out. It adds up when donors have the luxury of 4 hearts to choose from in less than 2 weeks. It adds up when it takes 4 days to be matched with an organ, while elsewhere in the world it takes over a year if you're lucky. Outside of China, the rest of the world has people dying waiting for just one organ with which to be matched for a life-saving transplant. But in China, where do these organs come from, and how can they be so plentiful? Not just that, but how are these organs so instantaneously available on demand? Evidence suggests this is only possible if live human donors are already pre-cataloged and identified, ready for dissection at the drop of a hat. If communist China is all about saving lives, as they say, and improving the lot of the people, then why secretly guard the details of their wildly successful organ transplant acquisition process? Given its great success in making organs so readily available for transplants, wouldn't China want to share its miraculous success, sharing best practices with the rest of the world in order to save lives? Or is it that China's communist regime has created an advanced and highly organized detention system where a healthy reserve of humans is warehoused and cataloged for use as organ donors? Organ donors forced to give up their lives so that others should live.